Welcome to Laura Rose Paints. I am Laura Rose and I will be your guide for today's painting, which is a simple wintry landscape full of happy little trees, as Bob Ross would say. If you've been here before, you know the drill. If you are new to the channel, check out the description below for all the supplies you will need. Pull up an easel, hit like, hit subscribe, and let's get painting. Using the edge of a flat brush and a mix of blue and white, create a wavy line across the canvas about 1/3 of the way down from the top. Use a back and forth horizontal motion to fill in the canvas above this line, adding more blue to the mix as you get closer to the top. Using the same paint but switching to a filbert, use the tip of the brush to create curvy hilltops throughout the bottom portion of the canvas. Brush under each curve with a mix of white and blue, adding more white to the mix as you make your way down towards the bottom of each hill. Don't worry about it being perfect, this is just the base coat and we will add more shadows and highlights as we continue. At this point, you may want to take a quick break and let those canvases dry, and in the meantime, you can support the channel by checking out my Instagram page at Laura Rose Paints. For the row of trees in the distance, use a pale green color. I mix mostly white with a small drop each of blue and yellow. Dab triangular shapes along the horizon with a tip of a filbert brush. Use the same basic technique to paint the next row of trees, this time using a somewhat darker shade of green. You can achieve this simply by adding more blue and yellow to your original mix. Continue adding trees, making them a bit larger and darker as you get closer to the bottom of the canvas. They don't need to be lined up perfectly, and in fact, staggering them a bit can help to add depth. Before adding the final row of trees in the foreground, give your brush a quick rinse and use either blue or white paint to pop in extra shadows and highlights under and around the trees. The final row of trees may be done in a very dark green, or keep it simple and use black. If any additional shadows or highlights are needed at this point, go ahead and add those as well. And now it's time for a second dry break. Go ahead, let those canvases dry completely while you clean your brushes and swap out your paint water. And if you are inclined to post progress pics to Instagram, feel free to tag me at Laura Rose Paints so I can see your version of this painting. To finish the sky, use a small filbert brush and white paint to draw and fill in a small circle for the moon. Then switch to a skinny round brush to pop in little white stars. Moving back to the filbert, but still using white paint, pop in some snow on top of the trees. Use the same dabbing motion as before, adding as much or as little snow as you like, but making sure some of the original tree is still visible underneath all that snow. And that is the final detail based on the reference. Feel free to add whatever else you like, but the final step is always to sign your name and take credit for your work. If you haven't done so already, I hope you will consider subscribing so we can continue creating together. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at Laura Rose Paints. You can also find me on RedBubble, where some of my designs are on stickers, magnets, and other merch. Thank you for joining me. I hope you will join me again, and please let me know down in the comments what kind of paintings you might like to see in the future. Thank you again, and as always, happy painting!